Do you match points and interest, and do you guarantee the lowest rate? One of the big things I want to talk about with this is we have to make sure we're talking about apples to apples and not apples to oranges. What we'll see is somebody will be driving down the street and they'll see a billboard that says we can get you a loan for 6.375%. And then they'll say, hey, I want to get a property for 6.375%. Well, guess what? First off, this is a homeowner loan. This is a property that needs no repairs. This is somebody that's putting down 20% down. This is somebody that's making monthly payments. That compared to a loan where little to no down. This is one where you have to have great credit. This is where you don't need to have great credit. So it's basically the complete opposite, right? This is not on a homeowner loan. This is an investment property. This property needs repairs. This one doesn't. We can do little to no money down. We can do no monthly payments. Credit's not the biggest issue on this, where the credit, you got to have certain scores to get this. And if it's not, then it's more. And so those aren't fair comparisons. So we've put together criteria here so that everybody understands what we do and what we require and how it works. So let's jump over to the screen here to talk about it. All right, so do you match points and interest, and do you guarantee the lower rate? And the answer is yes, we do, but we're doing like for like. It has to be the same product, not just the lowest rates. And let me show you what I mean by that. First off, this is an offer for any customer that has not signed a letter of intent with our company already. So if you've already signed a letter of intent, that doesn't work. So if it's for a new deal, you haven't signed the letter of intent, then that works. The loan term match may only apply to certain types of investment loans or specific loan programs offered by the lender. So if it's something where we don't even offer that program, like a homeowner, we're not going to match that rate. That's not what we do. And that's not the intended purpose and not what you're even asking about. So it may also have restrictions based upon loan amounts, loan to value ratios, states, lending criteria. So those things are there. But the concept of this is, in order for us to do a rate match, the very first thing you have to do is you have to get us an official detailed document of the competing offer. So such as a formal loan estimate or a letter of intent form or some other thing that talks about what the offer is, which is going to have to be pretty detailed. And we're going to go through that because we have to make sure we're talking about the same things. So for it to be a legitimate, documented, official, these are the things you're going to want. You're going to want the date or quote. So what's the date this was given? Was it given 10 years ago when rates were 2%, or was it given right now when rates are different? The lender name and contact information on website. It needs to say this is who is willing to give this offer and their information. They've got to be a legitimate business. The borrower's name, meaning your name. The subject property address, meaning the one that you're trying to get the financing on. What type of loan that it is, like is it a rehab loan? Is it a traditional loan? Is it an owner-occupied loan? How long the loan is for, what the purchase price is, what the rehab is, estimated after repaired value, the annual interest rate that they're offering, the origination points. All of the fees broken down. Now, this is standard on a letter of intent. You'll see all of this on our letter of intent. So this shouldn't be something that's hard to ask for. Now, what you'll find is if somebody's not providing this, then they're probably not a legitimate bona fide lender because these are just standard. The payment schedule and amounts. Do I have to make payments? Do I not? Is there a prepayment penalty? Is there not? Total cash required by borrower before closing and at closing. So how much is total owed? Cash reserves required. Lots of lenders require that. That's not included in the cash to close. Credit score requirements, investor experience requirements, the total loan amount, and it must also contain proof of buyer's recent credit scores. So we have to make sure that that you match, your credit scores actually match the credit score requirement. So those are the things that we're going to need to do a loan match, because then we're matching apples to apples, but we won't be beat on what we offer. And so you must provide us with a quote within a week, 5 business days of when they give it to you. Okay, so a screenshot off a website that's like, hey, I saw this billboard at 6.5%. That is not a documentation. It needs to needs to be in writing, needs to match those criteria, and you've got to give it to us within 5 business days of the time that you get it, so that we can actually review that. The loan type, this applies to short-term investments only. It's got to be non-owner occupied investment properties. It's got to be residential, single family up to 4-plex. And the lender has to have a website, a business license, and they've got to be able to lend where the subject property is. So they've got to be legitimate. That's what we're looking for. The specific criteria, let's talk about this. We guarantee we'll match loan terms. Specifically, all terms are factored into our offer. For example, if you provide us with a competitor's offer for lower points and interest, but the competitor requires 20% down as a down payment, we would match those loan terms, but we would require that you put the 20% down as well. So we're not able to do the favorable loan terms from a competitor and our favorable loan terms with the same cost, right? So it's like, hey, this is a lower interest rate, but I have to put 20% down. I want that same interest rate, but I don't want to put the 20% down. It doesn't work like that. This is where we're saying like for like. It's got to be the same for the same. And so this is the cost benefit ratio, right? Does it make sense for me to pay more if I come up with less cash to close? It probably does. And so that's what we want to make sure that we're matching, is that you're getting the same benefits of what's actually there. We do not apply the favorable loan terms from one competitor and our favorable loan terms, which can result in us taking on an unrealistic level of risk. We match apples to apples, exactly what's offering to exactly what's offering. That's what we're doing based upon getting all of the data that we've talked about. Specific criteria, this includes the term, the purchase, the property, the annual interest rate, lender fees, payment information, credit score, investor experience, maximum loan to cost, as is, or ARV, prepayment penalty. Those are very similar to what we've talked about, but those are the things that we would want to make sure we're matching like for like. So if some of these things aren't the same, then that wouldn't be a matching loan offer. It would be a different loan offer. Also, verification. We reserve the right to independently verify the completing offer by contacting the lender directly or requesting additional information for you. We want to make sure that it's a legitimate offer. We won't be beat, but we want to make sure it's a legitimate offer and it's like for like. Time frame. The rate match guarantee may have a limited time frame within which you must submit the competing offer for consideration. You've got 5 days from the time of the letter of intent being presented to us. So if you get that LOI, you've got 5 days, okay? Same thing is if we give you an LOI, you have 5 days from the time we give you an LOI to give us a competing offer. After that 5 days, you're not eligible to do that. The same thing is if you get a competing offer, you have 5 days to give it to us from the time that you've received it. If we give you our letter of intent, you have 5 days to get us another offer. Otherwise, we're into processing and doing all these things, but that's the time period or the window. After that, it's not eligible. It's got to be within that time frame because we're trying to close deals. We're trying to get this deal closed. Matching offer. We'll match any valid competitor's loan terms and credit you $1,000 towards your loan if you fund your deal with us. If we're unable to match a competing offer and you receive funding from a licensed business that is in the business of making loans that has all those criteria we talked about, we will provide you with a year's subscription of our Pro package. Limited availability. This offer does not apply to loans for properties located in these different states. I won't list them out. You can see that. And this offer includes loan products for the purpose of investment, single family, those types of things. To claim the offer, the borrower must either fund your loan with us, or number 2, provide us proof of a competing offer, or fund the loan with another hard money lender. A licensed business that's in the business, present unilateral final closing documents and final note from the funded loan within 48 hours, 2 business days of the loan closing. So if you do decide to, so 1, do your loan with us, and then we'll credit you an extra $1,000, right? Number 2, provide us with that competing offer so we can make sure it's like for like, and then we can make adjustments to ours. Or 3, you could say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and fund with somebody else that's better. And then we're going to say, okay, then you've got to present that stuff to us within 2 business days of the time that you closed, so we can validate that so that we can then make that right by getting you the Pro package. Closing documents must be exact match from the original's written quote. So if you get the LOI and everything's different, that's going to be a concern. This will confirm that they actually delivered the exact what they quoted on and the terms related to the loan. So if they quote something, you get something completely different, that doesn't work. So guys, what we want to do here is we want to be the very best lender out there. We want to give the best points, we want to give the best interest rates, and we want to give the lowest rate. But to do that, we have to make sure we're comparing the same to the same. If there's credit score requirements and money down and monthly payments and reserves and all this type of stuff that's required, but it's a low rate, but ours doesn't require those things, but it's a more expensive rate, that's not the same thing. But we're happy to provide like for like, and if we can't, we're willing to back it up with this guarantee. And the reason is because we're committed to your success. We offer the very best loan products that are out there to get you started in real estate with as little to no money down as possible to make it easier for people to get into real estate investing. Typically, those are going to be a little bit higher on points and rates than you would find in other places that are going to require a lot more. So it's cost benefit. Does it make sense? And for most people, the answer is yes. Now, if you're interested in taking advantage of this, follow these terms that we've outlined, and we would be happy to help you out, because our goal is to help you be successful and get your very first deal and many more done as a real estate investor.